In the shadowy corners of history, there are moments so chilling, so disturbing that they force us to confront the darkest depths of humanity. One such period is the Great Witch Panic, a haunting chapter in Europe's past where fear, superstition, and the lust for power coalesced to create a nightmare from which many never awoke. Picture this, a quaint village nestled in the heart of Europe. The year is 1612 and the air is thick with suspicion. A series of unfortunate events befall the town, a sudden illness, the death of a child, or perhaps a meager harvest. In this time-starved society, there had to be a culprit, and whispers began to emerge. A local woman was suspected of casting evil spells, of consorting with the devil himself. Before long, her name became synonymous with fear, and her face, the embodiment of evil. She was the witch. Such tales were not isolated incidents. They were threads in a tapestry of terror that stretched across Europe for over 200 years, ensnaring tens of thousands of innocent lives in its sinister web. Hello everyone, I am your host, and today let us explore a journey back in time to unravel the enigma of the Great Witch Panic. Part 1. Seeds of Fear. To truly understand the Great Witch Panic, we must first peel back the layers of history and explore the origins of this dark phenomenon. The seeds of the witch panic were sown during the early days of the medieval period. During this era, the concept of witchcraft was not viewed as a nefarious practice. In fact, many individuals dabbled in what we would now call witchcraft, engaging in herbal medicine, folk remedies, and divination practices. They were not seen as witches, but as healers, wise women, or simply those with an affinity for the natural world. However, everything changed when the infamous Malleus Maleficarum, also known as the Hammer of the Witches, was published in 1486. This book served as a manual for identifying and persecuting witches, portraying them as diabolical agents who consorted with the devil and practiced abominable acts. The publication of this treatise marked a significant shift in the perception of witchcraft, transforming folk practitioners into feared and demonized figures. Part 2. The Spark of Panic. Now that we've established the historical context, let's delve into the eruption of the witch panic. This terrifying episode in history reached its peak between the 15th and 18th centuries, casting an ominous shadow across Europe. The trigger for this widespread paranoia can be traced back to the publication of the Malleus Maleficarum. This book provided a systematic approach to identifying and prosecuting witches, outlining their alleged powers and the means to detect their presence. It became the go-to resource for judges and inquisitors, shaping their understanding of witchcraft and fueling the flames of fear. One pivotal moment that accelerated the panic was the trial of the so-called witches of Enden in 1562. The case involved a group of women accused of using magic to harm a young girl, although the accusations were later found to be false. The trial set a precedent for the persecution of witches and became a model for similar cases across Europe. As news of the ending and trial spread, fear took root and suspicion fell upon countless individuals. Part 3. Torture as Truth. In this section, we will examine the harrowing methods employed to extract confessions from accused witches. The witch trials were marked by a blatant disregard for justice and human rights. Once accused, individuals were subjected to brutal tortures, including beatings, sleep deprivation, and the use of weighted garments known as leaden aprons. These tactics were designed to break their spirits and force them to confess to the crime of witchcraft. A particularly disturbing method was the use of water torture, where the accused was either drowned or nearly drowned, simulating the experience of being boiled in hellish waters. Another horrifying ordeal was the red-hot musket ball test, wherein an individual was accused of witchcraft. A red-hot musket ball was dropped down their back. To protect themselves from the searing pain, they would typically have to confess to being a witch. Part 4. Burning the innocent. As the witch panic intensified, the punishments meted out to those accused became increasingly severe. The ultimate and most terrifying punishment was execution by burning. This horrific practice served as both a form of retribution and a means of cleansing the community of the perceived contamination brought by witchcraft. During the witch trials, the accused were not afforded basic legal rights or given fair trials. Instead, their fates were decided based on the strength of the accusations against them and the extent to which they could endure the excruciating tortures inflicted upon them. If they confessed to the charges, they were often spared the extreme penalty. However, if they maintained their innocence or recanted their confession, they were subjected to the brutal spectacle of burning at the stake. Part 5. The Numbers. It is estimated that during the height of the witch panic, approximately 40,000 to 60,000 people were accused of witchcraft, with the vast majority being women. The affected regions, such as Würzburg in Germany, became sites of mass hysteria and persecution. Over a span of few years, hundreds of people lost their lives during the trials in Würzburg alone. These staggering numbers provide a glimpse into the magnitude of the witch panic and the devastating impact it had on individuals and communities across Europe. Part 6. The Decline. The decline of the Great Witch Panic can be attributed to several factors. As the scientific method gained prominence during the Enlightenment period, it offered alternative explanations for natural phenomena, challenging the prevailing belief in witchcraft. The emphasis on reason and empirical evidence gradually eroded the foundations of the witch panic. Furthermore, the publication of works such as Reginald Scott, The Discovery of Witchcraft in 1584, offered a critical perspective on the legitimacy of witchcraft accusations, exposing the fallacies and deceptions involved in the pursuit of witches. As skepticism towards witch trials grew, the fervor surrounding the persecution of witches began to subside. And finally, during the 18th century, the focus of societal fears shifted towards new threats, such as the rise of atheism and the French Revolution, diverting attention and energy away from the witch trials. Part 7. The Legacy. Despite its decline, the legacy of the Great Witch Panic continues to resonate through history. The trials and persecutions serve as a reminder of the dangers of mass hysteria, religious extremism, and the abuse of power. The stories of those accused and persecuted offer a tragic testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. As we reflect on this dark chapter in history, let us remember the victims of the witch panic and honor their memory by striving for a more tolerant, compassionate, and just world. Throughout our journey into the dark abyss of the Great Witch Panic, we have uncovered the terrifying reality of a time when fear and superstition held sway over reason and justice. From the insidious whisperings of accusation to the horrific spectacles of torture and execution, we have witnessed the depths of human cruelty and the lengths to which the lust for power and control could reach. But amidst this darkness, we have also seen glimmers of hope and resilience in the courageous individuals who stood up against the tide of hysteria. Their stories serve as a reminder of the importance of critical thinking, empathy, and the unwavering pursuit of truth in the face of adversity. Let us carry their stories forward, ensuring that the lessons of the past continue to shape our present and future. May we strive to create a world where reason and compassion triumph over fear and prejudice, where the echoes of the witch panic serve as a solemn warning rather than a blueprint for the future.